So in this segment, we're going to be talking about rest in peace, the Super League. Rest in peace, the Super League. You lived for about 2, maybe 3 days, and the fans and the pundits were like, no. And then you finally realised that football is worth more to us than you guys could ever understand. You owners in America, you CEOs and chairmen, or whoever the hell you people are, football means more to us than you could ever understand. We see here Juventus chairman Andrea Agnelli says the ESL cannot proceed as AC Milan, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid join the 6 Premier League clubs in withdrawing. So they're gone. The Premier League clubs were out. Shouts out, as much as I dislike them at times, the Chelsea fans were protesting. Shouts out all the other fans were protesting and continuing to protest. This puts these people in an incredibly uncomfortable position, these owners, because should we talk about the motivations for most of these clubs for joining the Super League, okay? Let's go. Juventus broke. They spent way too much money on Ronaldo and free transfers. People like Aaron Ramsey broke. Pandemic has, nuked a lot of these countries, but broke. Juventus are broke. Real Madrid broke, even though they've just signed David Alaba on a 5-year contract on probably a decent wedge of money. They're broke because of their stadium and the pandemic. Barcelona broke because they're spending way too much money on players. They had to take out a loan, I think, to buy Antoine Griezmann. Why? Broke. Atletico Madrid, I feel like they didn't want to be left behind, and they would get 300 million minimum if you're the lowest in the Super League. So obviously they didn't want to get left behind. But had they stayed in La Liga, they would have been the champions year in year out. But obviously the money meant more to them. I think they recently moved stadium as well, but I don't know how broke they are. So what's that? We got those 4. Probably should have wrote these down. If I miss any clubs, allow me. Then we've got the I think it's the Premier League clubs. Chelsea, obviously, Abramovich. I'm not sure if he's still looking to sell, but he was looking to sell at one point. Chelsea would have been left behind, and obviously it would boost the value of the club tremendously if they were one of the one of the clubs that couldn't be relegated from the Super League. So that's Abramovich's motivations. I think Sheikh Mansour, I'm not sure about him because they don't need the money, but I feel like they didn't want to be left behind, especially if the Super League clubs were going to compete in the Premier League as well. But they were shaky. Chelsea and Man City, I think, were quite shaky on it. Arsenal, we'll leave some of them later. Actually, we'll talk about them now because they are kind of a group. Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United have 3. These clubs have something in common. Tottenham, I'm not sure about, but these clubs have American owners where there's no threat of relegation in America within certain sports. That means guaranteed money. And the reason why that these 3 clubs wanted to move to the American model and to have that guaranteed income is these clubs, they want a sustainable model. So what that means is the owners don't have to put any money in. They can take some money out every year and the club still runs fine. So that money is guaranteed. Without Champions League money, these clubs struggle. Liverpool, Arsenal and Man United. And we've seen all 3 of these clubs struggle to get into the Champions League. And so that's why they wanted to join the Super League. Guaranteed money. Easy money. Tottenham, I'm not sure who the owner of Tottenham is, but he would fall under a similar category because they've spent a lot of money. Tottenham have built a new stadium. They're in a lot of debt, I believe, over the stadium build. They just got rid of Mourinho. That's cost them, I think, £15 million. A lot of money. But, rest in peace the Super League, because football is, it's not a complete meritocracy. UEFA, FIFA and the FA, they need to get their heads bashed in together, not literally, metaphorically, obviously, because UEFA, their reforms to, following the Swiss model is ridiculous because they have some weird coefficient which allows clubs in for some previous, for their previous success. No, don't do that. If you can't get in the top 4 places, you do not deserve to play in the Champions League. You do not deserve to cut it with the top dons of Europe because you can't cut it with the top dons of your country. What makes you think you can cut it with them, with Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, etc.? So stupid, so dumb. This idea that there's some sort of coefficient should be given. So UEFA need to go back to making football meritocracy. Maybe the revenue splits need to be looked at, but it's just dumb. This whole situation now with UEFA, what they've done is stupid. You've got FIFA, who, a corrupt organisation. Let's leave it there. Corrupt organisation. And the FA. What did you expect to happen when you let people like Stan Kroenke and the Glazers take over these big clubs? What did you think was going to happen? These guys don't have a history of putting money in clubs. You got Stan Kroenke, who moved that team, the Rams, from one place to LA. So these people don't care about sporting institutions. These people care about money. So you let the Glazers in to the house. The FA allowed the takeover on debt. So what did you expect these people to do? That's all they care about is money. They don't care about the club. They've never cared about the club. It just frustrates me to no end that, you know, the FA and other institutions allowed this stuff to happen. You know, once you let the wolves in the door, they will kill you. They do not care, man. These people are wolves. They're animals. All they care about is money. You know, you got Malcolm Glazer saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, we got it wrong. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry." Shut up. Malcolm Glazer, John H. Henry, or whatever his name is, John W. Henry, get lost. A lot of you out. Because you guys don't care about the fans. You never have done. These people should never been allowed ownership over these clubs. Let's not forget, Liverpool's previous owners were worse than this FSG group, Gillette something, I think they were called. How are these owners being allowed to buy these clubs? You know, I don't think a 50+1 model will happen in the UK, but clearly more fan representation needs to happen at board level, because the two clubs that did have board fans on the board, Dortmund and Bayern Munich, didn't join the Super League because they understood how damaging it would be to football. PSG didn't because of beIN Sports has TV rights with UEFA, and they didn't want to. I think they wanted to wait a bit longer just to see how things play out. PSG aren't great. PSG's owners are bad human beings. But, you know, shouts out Bayern Munich, you know, the real top shotters of Europe, and shouts out Borussia Dortmund as well. You know, clubs with actual integrity. You know, and you can see how good the 50+1 model has been for fans in Europe, because they have, fans in Germany, because they pay less for tickets. I think their match experience are probably better, and you have more kind of louder fans in stadiums, much better atmospheres in Germany. You know, Perez thinks that the Super League's still on standby, get lost. It's not going to happen. I feel like, because eventually fans are going to be let back in stadiums, and if they allow this, you know, the Super League, if they go for this again, I think there'll be riots. I think there'll be riots. Shouts out Jordan Henderson, and, you know, for organising the captain's meeting. Shouts out Harry Maguire for apparently confronting Ed Woodward. Bye-bye, Ed Woodward. See ya. Never. I don't know what happens from here. I don't know what kind of punishments are going to be laid out. But RIP the Super League. Rest in peace. Because football should be meritocracy. It's definitely not, given the way certain clubs operate, etc. There should be rules around how much, you know, clubs have to invest in their club year on year, on things like, you know, training facilities, on players, etc. That owners should only be allowed to take out a certain amount from clubs. But yeah, you know, the fact that people like Mike Ashley still own Newcastle, it's shambles. It shows you the FA a bunch of frauds, allowing that man to buy a club, especially the way he treats Sports Direct staff as well. I don't know what more to say apart from get these owners out, get rid. You know, this goes above, you know, individual clubs. This is about the sport. These guys don't care. These guys do not care. Have it so the club CEOs or the people in charge of the club have to be elected like they are in Spain or Barcelona. You know, fair enough, those clubs got involved, but they got into incredible amounts of debt, and that should never have been allowed. But most of that's over stadiums, but that sort of debt should never have been allowed. They need more systems in place to stop clubs from getting into debt like that. I don't know what more to say apart from rest in peace the Super League. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You know, get lost, Perez. I can't wait to see you lose your next election. You're going to have to stand down. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.